Okay, we have two trees and they look similar, but they are very different. And here is why. If we go to wireframe, wow, look at that. So this tree on the left, let me turn on statistics and you can see it has, go into edit mode, it's 344,000 tries. This one, 2,400. And then also, if we look at the shading, this is just a 1K texture, and that's the new one that we made. And the original, which is a render, or excuse me, which is a scan, you can kind of see it's 2K by 8K, and it's all split up badly. So this is how most scans come in, and we're basically going to bake both the high poly bump, and this texture, and we're going to bake it into a nice clean geometry with a real simple map like that. So to do this, we're gonna, first I'm gonna take the tree and make sure it's at 0. Looks like it already was. Let's get back into modeling mode, and so there's our high poly tree. It looks like we don't have much information there. I'm just going to Shift A and start with a circle and grab it on the Z a little bit. And we're going to stay with the vertex that it has, which is, you can kind of see there. Now there's different ways we could do this. This polygon tool, it's new, kind of new to me. It's been around for a few years, but it's part of the whole 2.8. And I did use it on this previous tree, but it's been a while since I've used it, and you kind of need to watch a whole tutorial on how to use it. It's very useful, but this particular model is so simple. We're just going to do a real simple, we're going to do a real simple shape and then use the shrink wrap. So I'm going to go, let's see, let's do Alt-E, extrude edges, and I'm going to hit S and scale out to about, let's go to about here, and then I'm going to grab, get it over maybe like that, scale it in a little bit, and then I'm going to hit Control R and just give it some edge loops. Maybe take this, and with proportional editing, I'm going to grab it on the Z, bring that down just a little. Try to keep the whole thing above the other mesh. It'll be better. And let's just let's do the extrude edges again and scale, and then kind of grab on the Z till we get it about where we want it here. I'm going to Control R, put another edge loop there. And I'm just going to take this and, I don't know, extrude on the Z to about here, scale. Let's do this so we can see. And I think I'm going to let the shrink wrap do that and see what happens. It might be a mess, but I'm just going to come up to here. You can model it all the way up further if you want, but for this tutorial we're just going to do this, because the shrink wrap will get all this. If you want to kind of, I'm going to go to snap, and I'm going to take this down to here. And then I love this over here with these. If you don't have the loop tools, it's under edit. Once you enable it, loop tools. And if you relax parallel, you'll get something kind of interesting. See how it relaxes everything? That kind of is nice. I think that's enough. Let's just see what happens. Oh, we may as well smooth the faces. And so now let's go over to our modifiers and let's add our shrink wrap. And we'll cross our fingers that it doesn't do anything too crazy since we don't have it modeled real nicely. And that's not bad. We tab into edit mode and click this triangle. You can see what happened in the geometry. Ooh, that kind of messed it up. So let's just try project. Much better. I like that. You can go ahead and Control R, add a little loop. Whoops, not like that though. Control R, add. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, because I have snapping on. Turn that off. That's kind of better. If you see anywhere where it looks like it needs more geometry, just do it. I think that's okay. We're under 1500, so it's really good still. I found that for baking, at least in here, we kind of have to have it above the surface a little bit. So, I mean, that seems kind of like a lot because it really makes it look bad. But I haven't, I thought I used to be able to project the rays forward and backwards, and this last time I did it, I didn't see a way of doing that. I might just not have a setting right. Oops. Yeah, I thought I just did something weird there. See how, you might want to check to make sure something weird like that didn't happen. And that did. So I'm going to grab it and bring, oops, it's really wanting to snap weird. Not sure why. There. Definitely look inside and make sure that didn't happen because it's prone to doing that. And let's go ahead and cut our edges for our UV unwrapping. Control E, mark seam. And I think we want one here to here. If you put it in a crease, it's better. That's a little bit on the surface, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so one thing you do want to check, when you build that way from a circle, there's a real good chance that your UVs are flipped. So I'm going to go over here, and from right here, you can either do face orientation or this. And see how we don't see anything? It's on the bottom, it's all flipped. That's flipped. So I'm going to hit Alt A and select everything, go to Mesh, Normals, and you can do recalculate outside, but I'm just going to hit Flip because they're all, you can see they're all done. And that kind of did an interesting thing. It kind of changed how this projects. So let's just go back. Oops. And it also did something awful over here. Wow. That, I don't know why it did that, but it did. Let's just manually get this little rogue vertex back where it wants to be. Yeah, everything's kind of off now. So you can turn that off. But we're going to go back here, and that definitely affected all of this. I'm going to start over on this and see if we can get a better unwrap now. I'm not sure. Nearest point is that. Yeah, we should have checked that before because it kind of messed us up a little bit. I think I'm going to go with that. Yeah. Oh, no, we're not, because look how messy that is. Don't do that. Let's go back to project. Let's turn this off and see if that helps. I don't really, let's see what this is. All right, let's see what happens with this. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. I don't like how it's going on the outside of that. Ah, there, that's better. So, sorry, I don't quite have these settings down, obviously. Just try until you see something that looks pretty good. So apply. And so now we're going to start baking. This is how we bake. We're going to go into Shane tab. And let's see, we've got, with this low, of course, double check. You've got UVs, you do. but you want to go to this material tab and you want to add your material for this. Let's call it tree low 3. I'm gonna go up here and rename it. Okay, and so with that material selected, you want to come down here, and I'm going to hit Shift A, texture, image texture, and now this is where you do not connect the node, but we are going to want this to be selected. We need to make a new texture slot for this. I want to bake the diffuse and the normal separately. So I'm going to hit new, tree underscore low 3 underscore normal. You do not need alpha checked. We're just going to do 1K. And over here, let's make sure that's selected. If you select the wrong one, you're going to bake over something you don't want to bake over. It's always a good idea afterwards to save your image, so you can always import it back in. It will bake over you could change these settings so that it does not clear the image, but it's usually easier to just have it do that. So you want to make sure this is selected. The node is not connected. We want to bake the normal, and we want to bake, on this instance, we want to bake the selected to active. We're going to bake the high to the low. And so to do that, we're going to select the high first, shift select, high, shift select the low, and then we're going to want to have some kind of array distance. We're going to play around with that. I'm not sure if extrusion works if you don't have a cage. I think that's just for the cage. Yeah. And we don't have a cage, unfortunately. So anyway, let's just go ahead and you want to make sure you're in the render tab, and cycles has to be selected to do this, and just go ahead and hit bake and see what happens. It should be baking down here, or it'll give you an error. And it doesn't look like we got much. We got nothing, absolutely nothing. Why did we get nothing? That is the question. Let's see. We've got normal selected. Tangent space is what it should be, I think. Selected to active, ray distance. Yeah, I really don't know why we didn't get anything. Did I apply the modifier? Yes. There's absolutely nothing there. We'll just try it again sometime. I don't know why it's not working. Cycles, normal, and bake. Nothing. There is nothing there. Oh. We flipped the normals. Was that before or after we used... Did we I may have to... I can't remember. Oh, I didn't even unwrap it at all. Is that... Okay. Yeah, it has no UVs. So we cut those, and then I think I forgot to unwrap it. So we're going to go back in UV editing. It doesn't have to be in here, but you can see what happens. So I'm going to hit U and unwrap, and now we have that. I kind of want to take this and scale it down a little bit, and I'm going to select everything. With nothing selected this way, I'm going to hit pack. I just kind of wanted the trunk part to have more of the UV map. That's not real crucial, but... So now we're going to try again. I'm going to select the high, shift select the low, and we will see what happens. There, and you can see I've got a normal map now. So that's what happens if you have no UVs, or if you didn't unwrap your UVs. Okay, so now we also, good thing to save the image, and save as. With the normal map, you want to ping always. You don't want JPEG because it'll leave artifacts. But we're going to now, I'm just going to go ahead and do another texture. We could use the same one, but the same node. And so now we're going to bake the diffuse. So I want a new tree. This is one of the more complicated, weird baking systems. So if it seems confusing, it is. So I've made a new texture. I'm going to go over here and make sure I select the correct one again, or you will be baking over your previous for other things. You don't want to do that. So with this selected, and again, this select the high first, shift select the low, and we're going to go over here and we need to change this to just diffuse. And I don't want to bake the lighting in because I want it to have its own lighting in whatever, So we got some holes, which I do not like. I don't know if we get rid of those if we go up a little bit. And like I said, with clear image, we're just baking over the same image. Okay, so this is because of these little things poking through. I'm not crazy about that. You can go in and with maybe, let's do vertex to closest. Well, no, I want to snap to face. But in vertex mode, you could go through and kind of, try to get this above there. It's not going above. The other thing you could do is you could, it'd be faster, go back into here and put this shrink wrap back on, and doesn't seem to be working. Let's see. Project on surface. Turn snapping off maybe. I don't know why it's not working. All right, we'll apply that, and then we'll come in here and you don't have to do all this. You could go in and paint the missing texture in, but let's just do that. Oh, well, this is part of the reason too. The high has some extra weirdness here, so we don't want, that's fine. We'll just leave that. Okay, so let's go back and we shall make sure that's selected. Select the high first, shift select the low, and back in baking, we'll bake. And you can see over here, it got rid of most of that. So we're gonna save that. Image, save. I'm gonna do save as because I want to change this to a JPEG. That's because diffuse, it's probably going to be fine to do a JPEG. And with, like I said, with normal, you want to save it as a ping because otherwise you get artifacts. So this should be good. I'm going to test it now. We're going to take this and put it in there. That looks good. Let's turn that off. And we're going to take the normal. And for the normal, you want to make sure this color space is non-color. I'm going to Shift A and select from vector normal map, and then we'll set this one in, and you don't see the normal until you hit the lighting, and there we go. So that's how you do that. It seems complicated. Again, it's just because Blender kind of has a weird way of doing this. once you get doing it and doing it a lot, you know, it's still way better than, well, okay, it is what it is. But that is how, but the trade-off is, again, we have this at 1,500 polygons, you know, that's quite a difference in terms of being ready for game. And again, with the texture maps, those are pretty nice too. So that's how you bake a high poly scan onto a low. The only thing I didn't go into is sometimes your high poly scan might have some messy details, like we discovered late on in there. Let's go into edit mode. Select. That you probably want to clean up if there. I thought this model, I found something floating above. I've already deleted it though. If you have any kind of little messy scraps that are not even connected, go in and cut and delete those, you know, and you'll have a better time with this too. So again, it's worth doing, even though it seems kind of tedious. You can always, if you're scanning software, your scanner allows it, just download a low poly. It will not be nice and clean like the one we just made. It may be fine for your purposes. It just depends. Now, it definitely, if you're going to be animating something, obviously maybe not the tree, but if you're going to be animating something, you are going to want the nice, clean, low poly, because you just have to have that, unless you're glitching and doing stuff like that. So again, that's how you do it in Blender.